Hey everyone, Tech Barn back with another video. Now before we get into the video, let's just give you guys a funny story that we embarked on. So we walk into a well-established Canadian retailer which are certified Apple technicians and resellers. And within 2 meters of their AirPod Pros, we found 1-to-1 AirPod Pro fakes. Now, that sounds a bit odd, but then again, we're just a consumer. We're here to, consume all the tech, and that's why we picked up the pair of Airbud Pros for 10% the price of AirPod Pros to see how they are and if they're worth it or not. Now, starting off first with the boxes, and as you can see, there are clear differences between each of them. AirPod Pros look a lot sleeker than the Airbuds, and yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about the boxes. But once you open the contents and what you get inside, that's when the story changes a bit. The Apple AirPod Pros come with a USB Type-C to Lightning cable, and the Airbud Pros come with a Lightning to USB-A. And as you can tell, the packaging, they look very similar, which I was shocked. Now moving on to the earbuds themselves, and that's where the similarities start to come to shape. They look almost identical, with the only difference being the Airbud Pros having their logo on the front and the Apple one having designed in California on the back. Aside from that, everything design-wise on the case is the exact same. Now let's start off with one of the main differences that these two have and one of the most notable. And by notable, I genuinely mean you can probably see it from across the street somewhere. And that's the super bright light that the Airbuds Pro have when you close the case. And I don't know why it's so bright. It can simply be solved by putting a case cover on it, but it's there, it's noticeable. The AirPod Pros do also have a light, which isn't as bright and a lot more soothing on the eyes. Now, weight-wise, these are not too different. The AirPod Pros come in at 57 grams, whereas the Airbud Pros come in at 48 grams. Only 9-gram difference, which is kind of impressive if you ask me. And if we move on to the hinges of these things, the hinges of the Airbuds do feel a bit cheaper and the close isn't as satisfying, whereas the AirPod Pros obviously have a much more satisfying close and feel a lot more sturdy. Now to give you guys a better idea of the quality of the hinges, here's a quick sound test. The Airbud Pros do sound a bit cheaper and a bit more plasticky, whereas the AirPod Pros are built different. So now the earbuds themselves, which is probably the most important part because these are what's going to be in your ears and other people will be able to tell if they're real or if they're fake. Now to give you guys a better idea of how well made these 1-to-1 AirPod fakes are, let's play a little game. Let me know which ones are AirPod Pros and which ones are Airbud Pros. Given up? These two are the AirPod Pros and these two are the Airbud Pros. Pretty well made if you ask me. Now if we start off the comparison of these earbuds by putting one Airbud Pro in and one AirPod Pro in, the main difference that I can see is that with the AirPod Pro, it feels a lot more snug, whereas with the Airbud Pro, the ear tips are bigger and that's what kind of causes the noise isolating fit, whereas the AirPod Pros actually do have active noise cancellation and transparency mode. The Airbud Pros do claim to have that as well, but after testing it out, it doesn't really do anything. It has the effect, and pairing them is very simple. Pairing the Airbud Pros is almost identical to the AirPod Pros. They both have the exact same process, but then again, the Airbud Pros do not have that transparency mode. Now, when it comes to touch controls, they also have the same thing. You can activate Siri, you can play, pause on both of them. They do the exact same thing. And you also get that nice responsive clicking sound when you do any of the action. With regards to the click controls, they surprisingly work, and here's how they sound. Pretty satisfying if you ask me. Overall, comfort-wise, there wasn't much difference. I could wear the AirPod Pros or the Airbud Pros for an entire day with no issues, whether it's going to the gym, casually walking around, or even when I'm sitting at my desk doing work. They all did the exact same thing. Only difference, again, being one has active noise canceling and transparency mode, whereas the Airbud Pros do not have that. Now, is that worth the extra $300 you'd be spending? I don't know. That's fully up to you. But in my personal experience, after having used both of them for around over a week now, I can say I'm perfectly satisfied with the Airbud Pros. They do the job perfectly fine, and I hate to say it, but AirPods have somewhat become a status symbol, And if you just want to buy the AirPod Pros for the looks, then the Airbud Pros should be able to do exactly what you need it to do. The AirPod Pros, if you're someone who likes listening to music a lot and really values music, I would honestly look at other options. You've got the Jabra Elite 75Ts, Sennheiser Momentum V2s. Those are some other really well-made truly wireless earbuds, which come again cheaper than the AirPod Pros. Now, when it comes to sound quality, the Apple AirPod Pros are multiple times better than the Airbud Pros. They're finely tuned drivers, whereas the Airbud Pros do not have that. The Airbuds do sound a bit muffled at times, and the best way to describe it is like you're listening to music through a wall. You can kind of hear the music, but you can't fully hear the music, whereas the AirPod Pros have much better sound quality. Now, the Airbud Pros being one-to-one fakes with the AirPod Pros, it begs one question: can they fit inside of the AirPod Pro case? And to answer that, yeah, they can fit perfectly, and to the point where even the magnetization of it works, meaning it's a snug fit, confirming that they are one-to-one fakes. With that being said, if you stuck around till the end of the video, a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated. It genuinely means the world to us, and it only takes a couple seconds of your time. This has been Tech Barn, and as always, stay premium.